You're on a date! Great food, great laughs, great eye contact. You're already picturing a second date, maybe a third? And then she looks at you and says, no hard feelings if you leave. I have 2 kids! And just like that, your brain freezes. Because now you have a choice to make. And neither option feels easy. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened on that date. Why so many people run when they hear those words. And what I learned about love, honesty, and the one question nobody asks when kids enter the picture. Stick around, because the answer might surprise you. Let me paint the scene. It was a Saturday night, around 7. I'd spent 20 minutes picking out a shirt, you know. The one that says, I tried, but I'm not trying too hard. I got to the restaurant early, which I never do. But, for some reason, I wanted this one to go right. She walked in, wearing this simple green dress. Hair a little messy like she'd just come from somewhere fun. And her smile. Man, that smile could sell ice to a penguin. We ordered drinks. She got a margarita. I got a beer. And we just started talking. Not the boring stuff like what do you do for work? We talked about weird childhood fears, the worst haircuts we'd ever had, and why pineapple on pizza is a war crime worth fighting for. She laughed at my dumb jokes. I mean, actually laughed. Not the polite hey thing people do when they feel sorry for you. This was real. At one point, she reached over and touched my hand while I was That's when I knew. This wasn't just another date. This was something different. The food came. I got the burger. She got the salad classic. We kept talking. Time was flying. 2 hours felt like 20 minutes. I remembered thinking, I'm gonna text my friends after this and tell them I finally found a good one. I was already planning. Date number 2 in my head. Maybe a walk in the park. Maybe a little dive bar with live music. Nothing fancy. Just more of this feeling. And then the mood shifted. Not in a bad way, just different. She put her fork down. She looked at me straight in the eyes. Not the flirty look from before. This was a serious look. The kind of look that says, I'm about to tell you something that might ruin everything. And she said, listen, I've had a really great time tonight. Like, really great. But I need to tell you something before this goes any further. My stomach dropped. I thought, oh no, she's married. Or she's moving to another country. Or she's secretly a magician and I'm about to be sawed in half. Then she said it. No hard feelings if you leave. I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. They're 5 and 7. And I know that's a lot for some people. So, if you want to get up right now and walk out, I'll pay the bill and we'll never talk again. I promise I won't be mad. I didn't leave. But I also didn't say anything for what felt like a full minute. And in that minute, 1,000 thoughts ran through my head. Can I do this? Am I ready to be a dad figure? What will my friends say? What will my mom say? What about all the free time I have? What about spontaneous trips? What about just being able to be selfish sometimes? And then the worst thought of all. What if I stay? And then later I realize I can't handle it. And I end up hurting her and 2 little kids. Here's the thing, nobody tells you about dating someone with kids. It's not just about whether you like the person. It's about whether you're ready to become part of a package. And that package is heavy. It comes with school runs, sick days, ex-partners, baby daddies or mamas, child support schedules, and a million little things that will never be about you, ever. You will never be the number one priority. And if you're not okay with that, you need to leave before anyone gets hurt. But here's the other side of that coin. People who are single parents, they are some of the toughest, most honest, most loving humans on this planet. They don't have time for games. They don't have energy for drama. They've been through the fire, and they came out the other side, still able to laugh, still able to love, still willing to put themselves out there even after getting burned. That green dress she wore, she probably picked it out while making lunch for 2 kids, helping with homework, and answering an email from her boss, and she still showed up on time, looking like $1,000,000 with a smile that could melt your heart. So let's talk about the problem. Most people don't want to say out loud. When someone tells you they have kids, the real question isn't, do I like them enough? The real question is, am I ready to give up the version of my life where I come first? Because, let's be real, a lot of us, especially in our 20s and 30s, are used to being the main character. We wake up when we want. We go out when we want. We spend money on stupid stuff. We travel on a whim. We stay in bed all Sunday watching trash TV, and none of that is bad. That's just being young and free. But the moment you sign up to date a parent, that freedom takes a backseat. You can't just say, hey, let's go to dinner tonight, without checking if they have a sitter. You can't plan a weekend getaway without coordinating with an ex or a grandparent. You can't have a lazy Sunday because there are soccer, games, and birthday parties, and science fair projects. And if you're someone who values spontaneity above almost everything else, this will slowly kill you. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because your needs and their reality don't line up. Now, here's where it gets even more complicated. There's a study from Pew Research Center that found nearly half of single adults say they 우르돈とデートシングルparent. Ha. That means when that woman told me no hard feelings. If you leave, she knew the odds. She knew that, more likely than not, I was going to get up and walk away. And she still told me. She didn't hide it. She didn't wait 3 dates to drop the bomb. She laid it all out on the table right there, when the night was still going great. That takes guts. That takes honesty. That takes someone who respects you enough to give you an out before you're in too deep. I've been on the other side of this too. I once dated someone for 2 months before she told me she had a kid. 2 months! I met her friends. I met her coworkers. I even met her mom. And then one night, she just casually mentioned, oh yeah, my daughter's recital is this weekend. I felt so betrayed. Not because she had a kid, but because she lied by hiding it. She robbed me of the choice. She let me fall for her. Let me build expectations. And then dropped the truth when she thought I was too attached to leave. That's not love. That's manipulation. So when this woman told me on the very first date, without sugarcoating it, without tears or guilt trips, I respected her more than almost anyone I'd ever met. She didn't ask me to stay. She didn't beg or explain or defend herself. She just said, here's the truth. You can go. No hard feelings. And in that moment, I realized something. The way someone tells you hard news tells you everything about who they are. Let's get into the exploration part, because this isn't just a story about one date. This is about a pattern that millions of people face. Single parents are often treated like damaged goods in the dating world. People assume there's drama, or baggage, or that the kids will hate them. And sure, sometimes that's true. But a lot of the time, It's just fear. Fear of responsibility. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of loving a child that isn't yours and then losing them if the relationship ends. I spent a lot of time thinking about this after that night. I talked to friends who asked. I read forums and articles. I even called my own mom to ask her what she'd think if I brought home someone with kids. And what I found surprised me. Most step-parents I talked to said the hardest part wasn't the kids. It was the ex. Co-parenting is messy. Even when both parents are nice people, there are schedules, disagreements, and emotions that never fully go away. You have to share your person with someone they used to be in love with. That's weird. That's hard. And nobody prepares you for that. But here's what else I learned. A lot of people who said yes to dating a single parent ended up loving it. They said the kids gave them a sense of purpose they didn't know they were missing. They said watching their partner be a good mom or dad made them fall even harder. They said the love felt more real, more grounded, less about butterflies and more about building something. One guy told me, dating someone without kids feels like a trial version. Dating a parent feels like the full game. It's harder, but it matters more. So back to that night. I'm sitting there, food getting cold, and she's just waiting, not tapping her fingers, not checking her phone, just waiting, with this calm look on her face like she's made peace with whatever I say next. And I realize I have to stop thinking and start talking. So I take a breath and I say, I'm not going to leave, but I have questions. She smiled. Not a big smile, a small one. Like she was relieved but didn't want to show it. She said, ask anything. And I did. I asked about the kid's dad. She said he's in the picture but not super involved. Weekends only. No drama. Just distance. I asked if she expects me to meet them anytime soon. She laughed and said, absolutely not. That's months away, if we even make it that far. I asked the hard one. What if I try? And I fail? What if I hurt you because I can't handle it? She looked at me for a long time and said, then you try. And if you fail, you tell me early. Don't stay out of guilt. That's the only way you actually hurt me. That answer changed something in me. Because most people, when you ask that question, they say something. Like you won't fail, or I. No, you can handle it. But she didn't lie to me. She didn't promise me it would be easy. She just asked for honesty. That's all. Don't stay out of guilt. That line hit me like a truck. Here's the climax. The moment I realized I had to make a real decision. Not just for that night, but for the weeks and months ahead. I could walk away right now, pay my half, shake her hand, and never see her again. That would be safe. That would be easy. I could go back to swiping on apps and having dates where the biggest problem is who picks the restaurant. Or I could stay. I could lean in. I could see where this goes, knowing full well it might crash and burn, knowing I might love those kids and then lose them, knowing I might disappoint her or myself. I looked at her face. Not the perfect date face anymore. The real face. The tired but hopeful face of a mom who put on a green dress and went out anyway because she still believes in love. And I said, let's get dessert. She laughed. A real laugh. And she said, you sure? I said, I'm not sure about anything, but I'm sure I want to find out. We didn't end up together forever. I should tell you that now so you don't think this is some fairy tale. We dated for about 8 months. I met her kids, a wild little boy who loved dinosaurs and a serious little girl who loved reading. They were great. I was not great at being a potential step. I tried. I really did. But I learned something about myself. I'm not patient enough. I'm not selfless enough.